Hi, it's Bren. We've got Will Fells with us today. And yes, I talk about incarceration, but he's on a completely different level because he deals with the youth, either before they go in, when they come out. He also deals with at-risk youths with a speaking platform that he's got to educate. But I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about him. So, Will, tell us about you.
Yes, so I'm William Fells Jr. I work in the juvenile justice field as a probation supervisor. And basically, I deal with kids at every level from when they first get in to can be connected with the courts as far as being incarcerated or locked up through detention, all the way to getting committed and then trying to re-enter them back into society. So at any point, I'm talking with them, trying to basically reform them and bring them back in society better than they came. And so that's the idea of the juvenile justice system. We've been undergoing some reform because at one time, the juvenile system just basically mirrored the adult system. And they saw there were some changes that need to be had and some more therapeutic
And
paths that need to be
basically,
taken.
yeah, they need to be treated a little bit differently. Their mind's at a different stage of development. They don't know or have the experience, although they might think they know everything and have the experience. They really
Yeah,
don't. So completely different.
that frontal lobe, well, at 21, 23. So their frontal lobe is nowhere near being fully developed. And so they just make decisions on impulse. So most of our evidence-based practices that we use are based on evidence-based practices to help them with their impulses, behavior change.
Right. You're out of Virginia, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm out
So
of Virginia.
what got you started in this field?
Yes. So what got me started in this field is I just always wanted to help youth have a mentoring program in Caroline County called Men of Valor. And so we always want to help especially the young men understand their light, be able to see the light cut on for them, be able to see that they can be great individuals in society. They can be well-rounded. They can play sports, but they also can be in the boardroom as well and be able to present themselves well. So of course, with the mentoring aspect, I always want to help. And then I saw an opportunity to get with the Department of Juvenile Justice, and I had to start at the bottom. So I actually started inside the Juvenile Correctional Center. They don't call them juvenile prisons, but they call them the Juvenile Correctional Centers.
It's still a prison.
Yes. And so when I first was there, it was in the beginning of the reform when they just wanted to start the reform. And so basically a lot of the punitive measures would change with therapeutic measures. So example, if you have a kid that's having these mental health issues, you get into mental health services as opposed to just locking them up for long periods of time. And which means locking them. So they lock them up for shorter periods of time while giving them the services that hopefully can keep them from coming back. And so Virginia has continued to have their recidivism rate year after year for the past 5 to 10 years, just continue to drop because of the evidence-based practices that we use. And we try to be innovators based on looking at other states and the way that they do things and see what's the best practices and continue not to just get stagnant, but to say, how can we help our kids even more? And so because I want to help the kids so much, that's why I got into this field. And I'm glad that I started inside because I had to work on my verbal de-escalation skills to be able to get kids to come down when they're going up. And it has helped me in my progression because I've been an officer inside the facility, senior officer, counselor inside the facility, promoted to outside the facility as a probation officer, senior probation officer. Now I'm also the supervisor of a whole court service unit now. So I'm going to be director one day, and I'm just want to continue to move up as I continue to get my experience with these kids and trying to help them basically get back into society to be the best people they can be. So that's why I do what I do.
And I think that's wonderful. You know, we need more people that have that passion for our youth.
You have to have passion.
You do. What kind of things, what kind of home life are you seeing these juveniles come from?
Oh, yes. So it runs the gamut, but a lot of times, single mother households, the father figure is not there. We deal with a lot of males. We deal with females too, but even in those situations, the father is out of the home in both situations. And just having that male figure, I feel like I end up being an uncle. I call it the uncle status.
Become that male figure.
Yes, I become that male figure, and I call it the way I can build rapport with these kids. I feel is that I build more rapport because I'm like the uncle and not the father. So I can be there to where they can tell me things that they wouldn't tell even their parents, but they'll tell me because I'm cool enough for them to explain it to. But then as the uncle, I can actually reach resources to help them. So it's like the best of both worlds. And so that's what I take into the work field every day.
And they listen to you because you're not the parent.
Exactly. And so I use every
what is a parent now? We don't know anything.
A parent can tell them something 12 times and then somebody else or their friend can tell them the same thing, and then it resonates with them. So I've learned to always figure out what resource can I pull to help this kid based on the situation. And of course, year after year, you get better at it, you hone your skills. So I can just like reach out and
You get
say,
to read them better.
yeah, you can read them and give them the right intervention. We have different interventions, but to answer your question about the home, so yeah, single parent households, a lot of times lack of transportation,
Oh,
lack of food, just a lack of all types of things that they would need. Maslow's hierarchy system, they're just lacking the basics. So when you want them to do more, first you got to make sure they have food on the table,
yeah.
make sure they have a roof over their head, make sure they feel safe, and then once that's clear, then you can work on the rest of the things. So
Yeah.
I always gauge that when I come in for starters and feel like what resources are available to help them before I start trying to probation them or parole
Right.
them.
So when you have to put them back out into society, what do you do? Because what if you're putting them right back into the same environment?
That's always the challenge, but I take it head on every day because basically you're putting them right back where they came from. And then the thing is, even if they've learned some things while they were away, when they get back, the people who friends are expecting them to be the same people they were when they left.
Right.
Them. So we teach them refusal skills. We do this
Oh,
thing
good.
called epics. So it's effective practices in community supervision. And this is a great evidence-based practice that we use. And it works on the impulse control. It works on different skills that they can use and they practice over and over again. And they get homework. And
Yeah.
so we tell them, yeah, it's homework, but it's easy homework. But basically, you just practice what I told you so that you can show understanding. And then once you show that understanding, you can apply even when I'm not around. And
Good.
it's amazing when you can see that kid apply, be around his friends and be able to tell him or her, tell their friends that, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I'm on probation. I'm on this and I don't want to mess up with my probation officer. I want to get off so I don't have to
Right.
deal with the courts anymore. And so it's good to see that happen.
Yeah, you get that, then you also get the ones that go right back to it, and you probably see a lot of repeat there as well.
Oh, we get a whole lot of repeats. Oh, the ones that repeat, they repeat over and over again because they just haven't gotten it. But then when they get towards 18, that's another barrier where they understand the juvenile justice
Now
system
you're
is a
going to be
little
an adult.
softer. It's a little softer than the adult system. And so sometimes these kids, they try to play the system and then you remind them the system can't be played anymore. You're about to be 18. And sometimes it really does click. Well, most
That's
of them,
good.
it clicks on their time and not on our time.
Right.
So if we
Well,
meet
I
them
mean,
at a
that's
certain time.
any of us really. You got to want to
So,
do it. You got to want to change. Yeah.
so we got to work. Yeah. So we actually have to work them through. But the resources, what I see is something that juvenile justice system has done a great job in Virginia of doing is finding resources and pooling their resources together so that when the youth actually goes back into society and they're going into that place, you have things already in place. Like we have functional family therapy, which is an actual therapy that connects the whole family. So instead of me just trying to deal with the kid, I deal with the parents, I deal with the brothers, the sisters, and the whole housing unit. So if that's cousins coming in, all of them, you know what I'm saying, take part in the training.
Ones you want to see them succeed.
Yes. Everybody wants to see them succeed. You can be involved together. So that way they can reinforce when I'm not there. It's all about the reinforcement and teaching the parents how to be better parents and help and give them resources.
Yeah. I know times get tough and not everybody has the income level to have a lot of food and provide the safe home and stuff. But I think if you genuinely love them and you're trying the best that you can, and then you have some of this help coming in from the outside, like yourself,
yes,
then maybe they can start to see things differently and how they need to change for their child.
Absolutely. And that's what I try to teach the parents through the children. So when the parents are there, I'm taking the skill and I'm saying, what do you think about this? And I ask the parent too, and I'm actually giving them the skill as well while I'm doing, and I get a 2-for-1. And it has really shown to help because a lot of times that kid is just a product of their environment. If you can change the way they see things, change the way the parents see things, and the way the parent talks. Sometimes it's just about having a difficult conversation, being able to have a conversation, and it's gonna be uncomfortable. But if I have this uncomfortable conversation now, it keeps me from being locked up forever later because I've learned what I need to learn, and then my parent can be able to say what they need to say too, and teaching them how to give the kid time to speak and not just say because I said so. Right. And so it's all of these.
They also have that example now. It's not just because I said so. Well, you do it. Why can't I do it? This is all I know.
And the wonderful thing about the evidence-based practices is you practice over and over and you role play and you role model. So instead of the kids saying, what is going on? you teach them the skill, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna play the skill for you. I'm gonna be an actor. And then they get to be outside of themselves, and you get to play, and then they get to see themselves as the friend, as the mother, as the parent, and the
Oh,
parent gets to see
yeah.
themselves in the other role. And it's
Right.
something
They
about
both
being
get to
in
see
somebody's
that.
shoes,
Mhm.
and both of them can see the different
Plus,
correlations.
it's a non-threatening environment. Get
Yes.
to do that in a completely different level. Yes.
And they don't, and it keeps them from being defensive. A lot of times when the walls go up, you can't get a lot of the things in. But once you break those walls down, you can really do the work that we're trying to do. So
Oh, I think
I
that's
love it. I absolutely
yeah.
love it.
Well, I think to work with kids, you do have to have a passion for it. You do truly want to see it's not just a job, it's a passion, it's a purpose.
It has to be, because that passion has to hold you when nothing is perfect. So when that kid is gonna mess up, like a kid will mess up, it's us helping them through the mess up so that they don't keep doing the same thing over and over again. So if they make a mistake, letting them understand, yes, everybody makes mistakes. Even me as your probation supervisor, everybody, your parents, everybody makes mistakes, but it's not doing the same thing over and over again.
Right.
That's what your parent is trying to tell you, and that's what we're trying to say. So they actually are okay with trying something different. Because a lot of times they don't want to try anything because they don't want to make another mistake. I'm like, go ahead, try. What's the worst that can happen? Let's try. I'm going to do
Not
it with
right
you.
here, right now. That's not going to hurt you. Right.
Exactly. And so they try it, and I love that more times than not, they get the results they're trying to get. But
Oh, wonderful.
and I feel like you have to have a passion, because you have to build rapport. And
Yes.
this kid could be cursing at you, calling you everything, but you show that you have a genuine interest and it's not about the emotions,
Right.
and they
They
come on
change.
down.
Mhm.
And
And
then they
they
appreciate
want to
that you didn't
fight
run.
you. Right.
It's a test.
Yes,
They
it is.
appreciate that you didn't run away, because that's a test. Because a lot of these kids, the first time something is
Nobody's
wrong,
there
people
for
run
them.
away from them,
Mhm.
and they have abandonment issues and all of those things. And so when you come in and just present that solid rock that they can count on, you can
They
get a
see
lot
that
out of
it's
them
the
and get them
real
to do a lot.
deal. Right.
Mhm.
They also see that they can communicate with you on a different level than they've ever been able to communicate with somebody else. Yeah.
Absolutely. I try to be just a great communicator, and the kids actually help me be a better communicator every day, because as adults, you think when it's easy to tell somebody something when they know what you're talking about, but when you have to bring somebody from square one all the
Yeah.
way where you want them to go and go step by step, it takes work.
Boy,
And
doesn't it?
then and the kids will tell you, well, you didn't explain that. I'm
And
like,
they'll
you're right.
try you.
They will try you. They will try you. Oh my goodness. And it just, you have to always like play chess when they're playing checkers, just to be one step ahead. But it energizes me. I get up every morning and it energizes me, because we actually do great work. I'm a communicator. I'm an over communicator. My staff, everybody will tell you. My motto is teamwork makes the dream work. Of
That's
course, I
right.
didn't come up with that, but everybody
But you're using it.
yeah, I'm using it. We
Yeah.
have masks that have teamwork makes the dream work as a team
Good.
on there. We do team building activities. We went to the escape room, things like that, just to build our probation team so that everybody has the same understanding as me. Like,
Oh, that's
we're not
wonderful.
just trying to check off a box. We're trying to actually make
Actually making
changes.
them be held accountable for it. Yes,
Mhm.
that's good. It's not just saying it, you're doing it.
Absolutely.
But you're
It's about
taking it
action.
even, yeah, it is. And you're taking it even a step further, because you and your wife also do something else on the side. So tell us about that.
Yes, we have a lot of irons in the fire per se, but we have a few television shows. We have Spirit of Excellence TV. That's actually like my wife. She does coaching, so it's all bringing different coaches on, being able to help people in their lives by watching the coaches. If something might resonate with them, and so she invites them on there. We have Power One TV, where that's actually spiritual TV, and is I'm actually a ordained reverend as well. So
Mhm.
my wife is an ordained reverend as well, and so we use that to spread the gospel to all nations. And then we
Absolutely.
also spread the, and then we have Real Talk TV as well.
Mhm. And
So
her name is Dr. Real Talk, isn't it?
her name is Dr. Real Talk, and she is real. Yeah, she is Dr. Real Talk, and they have real conversations that really resonate with the people that we're talking to. We're not trying to talk above anybody's head. We want to talk right to what's going on with the community, to like get a pulse of the community and be able to give them things that they can use every day.
Right. And you're doing even more. You've got a little program where you're going and speaking to school districts. Talk to us about that.
Yes, so we have mentoring programs, both basically Beavers with Promise for my wife and Men of Valor for the boys. And so we've been doing these for about 10 years, and it's great. We get to get into the school systems and actually help them with their soft skills. We teach them interview skills. We go and speak to them and tell them about being better individuals, teach them proper rules of order so they're actually able to be in meetings and run meetings. They've run their own meetings and everything like that. We've had presidents, treasurers, the whole process set up, and we just go speaking and telling them about, like I said, being better role models, being able to get their friends. They invite their friends, and then we actually have a platform where we have international speakers to come to them and to talk to them from different perspectives about what they've been through. Because when you get successful men and women in front of these young people, it's exposure. And so we want to expose the kids to college
Real life
opportunities,
stuff, right?
the new lifestyles. We want to educate them, the things that they didn't know of, and we want to empower them to be the best self that they can be. And so we do those with both mentoring programs. And then, like I said, we actually speak on when people invite us to speak on whatever the expertise is. And with my wife, she's on the school board as well. She's the chairman on the school board. And so we just have so many different gifts that God has given us that we use to just help people. And we have a heart for the children because they are our future. And we know if we can get them early enough, that we can get them to actually change their life and make a better future for all of us.
And see, that's wonderful. You're not just about the talk, you're about the actual walk. You're about the change of actions before they get out there on their own. You're trying to prevent incarceration, trying to prevent a life of crime, trying to prevent a bad life. Yes.
I think that's the whole point, being proactive.
Mm-hmm. So how can people get in touch with you if they want to be a part or donate or, tell us how we can do that?
Oh, yes. So you can go to my wife's website. It's Spirit of Excellence TV. You can also go to drrealtalk.com because that gives it portals you to everything that we're doing, because we're doing so much, just trying to get to the community in all different ways. So if you go to realtalktv.com, you can do that. You can also reach me at my email address, which is eyeontheprize85. Keep the eye on the prize 85 at gmail.com. And that's how you can get in touch with me.
I love the eye on the prize because that's really what you're teaching. You're teaching them to refocus and where to focus at, which would be a better version of themselves. Yes, absolutely. I had the honor of sharing a virtual platform with your wife this weekend. And yes, with the Becoming the Best You conference, and that's going to be happening in person in February in the Kansas City area in 2022. But I encourage you guys to get on those sites and really listen to what they are doing, because they're making a difference. They're making changes, and it's real. It's real because they love what they do. And when you love what you do, you never go to work.
You never go to work. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, I thank you so much for sharing your story. Give me some parting words of wisdom.
Yes. So me and my wife use her term, basically do the most that you can for as many people as you can, as long as you can. And the world will be a better place.
Absolutely.
And so right now you have to do the countless things that others won't, so that you can choose from the countless things that others can't later. And so that's what we live by. That's a legacy that we build for our children. And we let them know that, yeah, you have to do some things now that you might not want to do. You might want to have to do some things now that is hard, that is difficult. But later, it's going to be a place and a platform where you can reach from that other people can't, because you put in the work. And so, yes.
No,
so
very wise words. Absolutely. Absolutely. So go to those websites. I will put them in the links as well. Check them out, see what's going on, and see how you can participate. Always donate your time to the youth, because you were young once too. And if you had the advice that they're giving now, maybe you'd have been a better adult. Just maybe. So, well, thank you, Will. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on, and we're going to get the word out.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me.
You bet.